Mau Mau were blessed, talented commandos. The true Mau Mau are the truth of the matter. Kimathi was born on 31st October 1920. He was born in Dege village, Teto division in Nyeri district. Kimathi's mother's name was Waifuthi. He had 2 brothers and 2 sisters. The 2 brothers were Wabararia and Wagura. He joined Karunaine Primary, where he perfected in English skills. He used those skills when writing after primary education. He joined the secondary school at Tomotomo CMS. Kimathi joined the British Army in 1940 for 1 month and was later discharged for persistent violence against his fellow recruits. He was employed from job to job, one as a swine head and later as a primary school teacher, and was dismissed for violence against his pupils. During 1948, while working in Olkarau, came into close contact with members of KAU. By 1950, he had become the secretary of KAU of Olkarau branch, which controlled the militant supporter of the Mau Mau. Mau Mau began as led at the Freedom Fighter Army, a militant Kikuyu army, to claim their land which the British settlers had gradually stripped from them. Kimathi joined 40 Group in 1951. Later, Kikuyu Central Association as a branch secretary, which were independent movements. He was able to use a double-barreled shotgun. He was arrested that year but escaped with the help of local police. Kimathi was extraordinary and had escaped many British colonial government traps. He formed the Kenya Defence Council to coordinate all forest fighters in 1953. Field Marshal Kimathi was the supreme commander of all Mau Mau forces. Forces in Mount Kenya, Aberdare, Nyandarua Forest, Central Province and Rift Valley. General China was the commander of all Mount Kenya forces, and after his capture, General Kaji took over his position. The following are generals at their areas: Madhege Mirugi, General Tanganyika na Rumoru. 2. General Kasam and General Nyamudanya Ndia. 3. General Kufukufu Ebu. 4. General Chui Chuka. 5. General Siba Nyanyuki. 6. General Mwaliama and Field Marshal Bai Munge Meru. 7. General Rui and Kaleva for the settled reserve areas. 8. General Kago and General Matejago Muranga. They held meetings at Kaleva's caves, and one of the caves was known as Thigira Wairegi. Inside the cave hung a timber written Thigira Wairegi. Many Mau Mau dominated from Nyeri district and that was why Nyeri town was the provincial headquarters of Central Province. The cave known as Ligira Wairegi was among Kariva's caves in Ruiru, where many Mau Mau generals and leaders held meetings. The cave could hold more than 50 Mau Maus and was always guarded by some Mau Mau. Even Kenyatta met with Mau Mau and shared a meeting here in that cave early 1952. This was a few months before he was arrested on 21st October 1952. The name of the state house, Ligira Wairegi, in Kenya was named after this cave, or dominated from this cave. From Aberdare, Nyandarua Forest, Kimathi followed Chania River bank all that way to Marua, to where River Chania joins River Dagana. Then followed Dagana River bank for 2.5 kilometers, where River Dagana joins River Ruiru, and then follow Ruiru bank, and at a distance of a half a kilometer he could reach Kariva's caves. Jomo Kenyatta had joined Mau Mau rebellion of 1952, which directed against the presence of European settlers in Kenya and their ownership of land. On 21st October 1952, Kenyatta was arrested on charges of having directed the Mau Mau movement. In April 1953, Kenyatta was sentenced to a 7-year imprisonment for managing the Mau Mau terrorist organization as named by the colonial government. He denied the charges, then and afterwards maintained that the Kenya African Union's political activities were not directly associated with the Mau Mau violence. Kenyatta was released early 1961 from Lodwar, to where he was exiled in 1959 from Noctang. Scouts all over supplied Mau Mau with information required for planning attacks and sometimes food. They could also whistle to alert Mau Mau if there was danger or if it was safe for the Mau Mau. Mau Mau food was mainly maize beans, githeri, arrowroot, sweet potatoes, and Irish potatoes, fruits, milk, iflake, meat, and honey, and sometimes sugar canes. All areas could supply them with food, clothing, and medicine. Mau Mau generals made it difficult for the British Army to pass where they passed in forest. They loved God. Mau Mau kept praying God and asked him to lead them. British Army feared forests where Mau Mau were hiding because of snakes, bees, wild animals that could attack them, and even crocodiles in the river, most of which did not attack blacks. In February 1954, Kimathi had recovered the whole of Central Province and the Rift Valley from colonial government. And in the same month, February 1954, Kimathi had a parliament which was held in the Ligira Wairegi cave, one among Kariva's caves. But in the same year, 1954, Kimathi was shot on one of his legs by a man known as Drango. 2 bullets went missing, but unfortunately the third bullet caught Kimathi by his leg. This was on 21st October 1954. Kimathi was shot on one of his legs. He was only having a paga and a bundle of sugarcane while shot near River Shania Bank. Dirago was among a group led by Ian Henderson. Then they arrested Kimathi in the Nyeri forest. That time, few days before Kimathi was shot and arrested, he had given a sword to my grandfather and said, "Menyagirira iteri witu," which means be taken care of our land. A court presided over by Chief Justice Okna Julie of Kenya sentenced him to death while in hospital bed at the General Hospital of Nyeri, and later taken to Kamete Maximum Prison in the early morning of 18th February 1957. He was executed by hanging at the Kamete Maximum Security Prison. He was then buried with hard cuts on his head. Kimathi was buried in a grave near a stream between 2 trees. At Kamete Prison, bodies were buried at night, so if later Kimathi's grave was not dug and his body taken by colonial government to be buried elsewhere, then he is still there. In 1955, Mau Mau Omera, who had all information written by Kimathi, was killed after being tortured by colonial police and the information papers taken by them. In one of his papers, Kimathi had said that he would like to see black assisting black the way the whites were doing. In 1963, after independence, for the first time, Kimathi's wife Mukami asked the first Prime Minister of Kenya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, to give out Kimathi's body for burial, to which was not given to her. Children of Kimathi were sons Washiori and Maina, daughters were Nyawira and Wajogo at that time. Since that time, Mukami had been asking for Kimathi's body now and then. This work now remains to the Wakikuyus, Waebus and Wamerus to help Kimathi's family to get the Kimathi body and make sure he is buried at his chamber, or where you will decide with the concept of his family, and this will bring unity. In Kenya, this homework now remains to Kikuyus, Ebus and Merus to see that you get Kimathi's body and buried at his chamber, or where you will decide with the concept of his family. General Kareva was killed by British policemen because he was seen wearing clothes of European he had killed. When I was a young boy, I was given some of this information by my grandfather, who truly knew about many caves in Central Province and especially Kareva's caves. My grandfather's name was Korabu, who was a Mau Mau, and among those who guarded the said Kareva's cave. He used to be a good friend to Kareva and Kimathi. And my grandfather used to be a Kikuyu leader. My grandfather was known as Jabutu, which in Kikuyu means a leader of Kikuyu men who went to raid and bring cattle back if they were stolen by other tribes. Jabutu was among those who did not want to be colonized by British colony. Korabu, my grandfather, was given this name because wherever he passed, he could leave Wazungu screaming. My grandfather used to say, Kariva nitwake muthikire hihi ni magagĩtũnengera kĩmathi nake tũkĩmũthike. This means, when interpreted, yes, we buried Kariva, but will they give us the body of Kimathi for burial? Then he could add, never whisper in darkness, because you cannot see your shadow. There was even Kikuyu women who were Mau Mau, like Field Marshal Muthoni wa Kirima. She was Nairutia born and nicknamed by Kimathi Nyona wa Thojo. She was talented in magic. She could disappear miraculously before your eyes. When I was a young boy, we used to take our cattle to water near Kariva caves. One day, 2 buses from Nairobi University were parked a few meters from where I was. That was the year 1975. University historian, students and their lecturers excavated the caves with the help of some area residents who knew about the caves. They found guns, clothes, and written papers. Some guns were eaten by ants and most of the papers. It is not known whether they took them to the university or to the museum, but later on, the government reacted bitterly to the lecturers like Maina wa Kenyatta. Thank you for listening. Writer. Forest after forest, road after road, journey after journey. Here and there, Mau Mau had to look for somewhere so that he could eat. Open his bag or whatever was brought by the scout. Most cases, a gourd of milk, sweet banana, something inside banana bags, knife that was tied by banana bags, and the fruits. Then prayed for the food to be blessed. Cut and untied the banana bags, found arrowroots and the sweet potatoes. What else but to eat? Kimathi used to place a mirror in front so that he was able to see what was always behind him. Take out the sword, stab the ground, and say, always protect the land. Smear it with a sweet potato, then put it back. The same to the knife. then fold the knife with the banana bags. If I had a gun, it could not have protected me. When I met with a snake face to face, now I celebrate the love and the mighty protection of God, who saved me. If I had a gun, it could not have protected me. When I met with an elephant face to face, now I celebrate the love and the mighty protection of God, who saved me. If I had a gun, it could not have protected me. When I met with a lion face to face, now I celebrate the love and the mighty protection of God, who saved me. If I had a gun, it could not have protected me. When I met with a crocodile face to face, now I celebrate the love and the mighty protection of God, who saved me. If I had a gun, it could not have protected me. When I met with a hippo face to face, now I celebrate the love and the mighty protection of God, who saved me. If I had a gun, it could not have protected me. When I met with a buffalo face to face, now I celebrate the love and the mighty protection of God, who saved me. If I had a gun, it could not have protected me. When I met with a colonizer face to face, now I celebrate the love and the mighty protection